Let's turn over this text a little bit of Psalm 8 together. So the first two verses, this is the beginning of verse 2 right here, and this is the beginning of verse 3. They give you a really hard time if you try to divide up the versets. So these are versets right here, based on parallelism. And so, I had this suspicion that maybe what we're dealing with here is enjambment rather than parallelism. But I was really weak on what enjambment really was. I've always kind of resisted doing a deep dive into it because the whole concept was kind of hard for me to get my mind around. But then I stumbled on the work of this guy that you all need to pay attention to, F.W. Dobbs Alsop. I think he's at Princeton. I think he's still at Princeton, even though this was written 20 years ago or more, this article. And he explains what enjambment means. Okay, now I just want to just help you experience it first. Watch this. Ma adir shimcha bechol haaretz asher tana odecha al hashamayim. Now, if you know Psalm 8 well, you know that I've amended this word right here. In the Hebrew text, it's asher, the relative pronoun, and asher tana, which looks like either a long form infinitive construct or a long imperative from Natan. In the Masoretic text, it just makes no sense. So I propose that we just amend asher. We don't have to do anything with the consonants. Just amend asher to ashir, which is a middle weak verb from the root shir, which means to sing. It means something like I sing, I will sing. Okay, and this creates this kind of triadic. You see these three verse sets here. Triadic poetic verse line on the following rhythm. I'm going to do it again. Ma adir shimcha bechol haaretz asher tana hodecha al hashamayim. What is enjambment? Okay, so think of enjambment of the continuation of syntax and sense across line junctures, or verset is what I like to call that, verset junctures following Robert Alter, without a major pause. Okay, so there is a pause. Okay, you hear the pause, but it's prosodic based. It's based on prosody more than it is parallelism. Let's do it again. Ready? Ma adir shimcha bechol haaretz asher tana hodecha al hashamayim. Now I am ignoring some of these Masoretic accents here to get the prosody I'm arguing for, but I think it works. I think it's beautiful. Now, enjambment works like this. So we have this pause, but it's cutting the syntax up. So you see how in this line right here, for instance, I say I sing ashir, and then here's what I will sing, tana. Well, if you know the verb natan, to give, you know that it requires an object. So enjambment works like this. We cut this syntax up and we push forward some element of the syntax to the next line here, namely the direct object of the verb tana, the imperative tana. So the direct object is kicked forward to the next line and it kind of tugs the reader along in this way, anticipating the completion of this clause. This element that gets pushed forward is called the rejet. The rejet, okay, is the word or small groups of words that are shifted by enjambment into the succeeding line. One of the interesting things is it creates is in these versets is a type of end rhyme, as adir shimcha corresponds phonologically to ashir tana, and then focus gets kind of put on this hodecha al hashamayim. And I wonder, okay, here's an interesting take on this verse. I wonder if this is kind of a unmarked relative clause here. So it's not so much place, because natan can mean put or place or put your splendor upon or above the sky, because in verse 4, we're going to see that this psalmist already thinks that God's splendor is evident in the heavens. So I don't think this is a statement about that here as much as it is a prayer or a request that Adonai would place his splendor on the earth, in all the earth, place his splendor, which is already in the heavens or upon the heavens. Which that reminds me of something from that Galilean rabbi who taught his disciples to pray, "Your kingdom come, your will be done," right? On the earth as it already is in the heavens. What do you think? Let me know. And what could we do in English to try to capture this rhyming effect at the end of the first two versets and the enjambment prosody of this line? Maybe something like this: "O Lord, our Master, how supreme your epithet! In all the earth I sing set your splendor, which is upon the sky." Something like this. Let me know what you think.